I beg to move that this House do now adjourn.
The question is that this House do now adjourn. Chris Bloore.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's a pleasure to be in the Chamber to discuss an issue that many of my constituents in Redditch and the villages, along with many other constituents across the country, care so deeply about: non-league football. I'm grateful that the Minister is in her place to respond and would like to put my thanks on record for her steadfast commitment to bringing in the Football Governance Bill. I know she cares deeply about the future of our nation's favourite game and is heavily invested in its future. I'd also like to thank the various football clubs, organisations and supporters who have contacted me to tell me both their positive and negative stories about what is happening in their communities. I'm blessed in my constituency to have several excellent non-league football clubs, including Redditch Borough FC and the aptly named Sporting Club Inkborough. But today I'll be speaking directly to Redditch United's contribution to our community. Non-league football clubs attract local fans, generating money through ticket sales, concessions such as food and drink and merchandise, and parking fees. These funds flow directly into the local economy, benefiting surrounding businesses such as pubs, cafes, restaurants and shops. In partnership with the Football Association, Redditch United has commissioned a study into the club's various impacts, and the results are staggering. United's total direct economic value to the local economy is over £2.5 million. The club generates nearly £200,000 in total health value, nearly £20,000 in social value, and over £1 million in wellbeing value, all just from 10 full-time staff and 50 part-time staff. These numbers would make any local authority, public health unit or government scheme blush in their effectiveness. Of course.
I thank my honourable friend for giving way. And he will notice I found my Harlow Town FC badge for this particular debate, and I welcome the importance he's putting on non-league football. Would he agree with me that it's not just the small paid staff members of these clubs, but also the huge number of volunteers? I pay particular tribute to a Welsh lady who is our match secretary, Donna Harvey at this moment. But actually, it's about such a community feel that brings people together, that makes our non-league football so special.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The Honourable Member for Harlow is absolutely right to point to the incredible impact of volunteers on our local football clubs. Despite the professionalism of non-league football clubs in the recent years, they wouldn't exist if it wasn't for volunteers like your constituent. Non-league football is often more affordable for fans, allowing greater access to entertainment for people in their local community. The relatively low cost of attending matches means that more people can engage with sport and participate in local economic activities surrounding the home ground. United charges £123 for a season ticket, and crowds have trebled in the last 5 years. More and more local boys and girls are building an affinity with a local club, and local businesses are benefiting. United have nearly 400 youth players visiting their ground every week, marshalled by nearly 500 volunteers, with over 100 adult players and 560 community programme participants. The economic footprint of their daily training sessions at the Valley Stadium is significant. From our petrol stations to bus companies, to local shops selling sports drinks and water, to shops helping parents fuel their parents and children before they play. Engagement with Redditch United provides a wide range of benefits to different individuals. The Football Association credits Redditch United with creating 173 hours of social interactions, generating £187,000 in player wellbeing value and £1.8 million in value generated from club volunteering hours. Oh, of course, forgive me.
I thank my honourable friend for Redditch for giving way. I think when he talks about the wider impact of non-league football clubs, I think one of the things that can be missed, and whilst it's really important that we recognise their economic value, I'm really blessed to have two non-league football clubs, Step 4 and Step 5, Chase Town FC and Lichfield City. And who can forget Chase Town's giant killing exploits in the FA Cup a few years ago? The sense of achievement and the sense of togetherness that brought to the entire town of Burntwood is something that's so difficult to replicate. And does he agree with me that sometimes, whilst it's really important to recognise the economic value, that social value of the togetherness and the camaraderie and the civic mindedness that comes with supporting these clubs is so valuable for our communities?
I thank the Honourable Member for Lichfield for his contribution. I knew I should have sent him my speech beforehand because I'm going to get onto that, and I completely agree with him. It's not just the economic value that non-league clubs give to their communities. United have been at the forefront of well-being and mental health campaigns, and many volunteers have gone on to work in the game, become accredited coaches, or simply built up the confidence to get back into paid work after a lengthy absence. I recently attended a walking football event at the Valley Stadium, and it was heartening to see some more senior players still active, and those who had suffered from poor mental health feeling that they had an outlet and a community to be proud of. Football is also a tool to create partnerships that sometimes local and national governments simply can't make. Redditch United has signed a sponsorship deal with the giant Reddit, stemming from a post on their site. I have to admit to being a little overwhelmed at the sight of Reddit directors arriving from the United States to walk around the Valley Stadium and visit our town to cheer on the Reds. But United do even more. The Design a Kit campaign has been launched for a second year, engaging local school children. The club is working on making the fan base more diverse and working in schools, hosting employmentability talks, mock interviews, sports delivery, work experience, working with local universities and colleges, and is now used by Ascend College for sports provision. Helping young people into jobs that pay taxes that will help us rebuild our public services and put the public finances on a solid footing once again. They're a hub for businesses to network, and yes, they're creating the next generation of male and female footballers that I hope will push United up the pyramid and train the next generation of coaches. They are also the home for West Bromwich Albion's ladies team. Yet despite this incredible work and its proven benefits to the economy and community, the challenges facing non-league football clubs are still significant. It's getting harder, not easier, for non-league clubs to be sustainable, and their contribution is at risk. Due to limited revenue streams, non-league clubs often face financial struggles. They may struggle to maintain infrastructure, pay players, and compete with larger clubs. Sometimes promotion can even bring challenges of being placed in a geographically challenging league, making it difficult to attract players, and in some cases, relegations have followed promotion. Last night, I had the chance to speak with Ellis Platten, the creator of the Away Days YouTube channel, who has done an excellent job of chronicling the impact not just on a fan base, but on a community when a local club hits tough times. From Durham City's unwanted winless run to Farsley Celtics playing their home games miles away from their home ground, these stories are not uncommon when ownership fails. 10% of teams in Redditch's league from last year aren't in existence anymore. The economic footprint and social impact of these clubs have been immediately lost, and there is nothing to replace them. There are no billionaires interested in rescuing smaller clubs, so these non-league clubs simply collapse. Like losing a major high street retailer, the knock-on impacts in the local economy can be catastrophic. But we know it's not just the economic benefits that are lost. All the work that is done off the pitch at the heart of our communities is lost too. If Redditch United were to shut its doors, we would lose so much more than just a team. Despite the excellent work of the Football Foundation to support clubs like Redditch United to improve local football facilities, the balance between being a community asset and maintaining financial stability can be challenging for these clubs, and too many towns are losing them. Trickle-down economic... Of course.
Thank the honourable gentleman for giving way. Normally, when I mention football in this chamber, it's reference to Grimsby Town. But on this occasion, and thanks to boundary changes, I've now got Brigtown FC, which is a community interest club. And I went to one of their matches a few weeks ago. And what he is saying, and other members that have drawn attention to, is the important part that they play in the local community. But they also, of course, when it comes to financing them, do encourage local businesses into sponsorship. And would the honourable gentleman agree with me that that is a vital source of income to non-league clubs?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The honourable gentleman is absolutely right. Redditch United wouldn't be in existence if it wasn't for the support of local businesses in Redditch and the villages, and we're extremely appreciative of their sponsorship. And if some of them are watching this, we hope that they renew their sponsorship agreements for the next 12 months. Trickle-down economics in the football pyramid simply doesn't work, and not simply in cash terms. It can be difficult for non-league clubs to approach councils for support in planning or involving them in long-term strategic economic, health and leisure decision-making. Many transport routes that serve local grounds have been lost, and whilst Premier League and Championship clubs might receive significant support in making their grounds accessible, the same doesn't apply to many non-league clubs due to lack of funds and expertise in town halls. Of course.
thank him for giving way and for giving us the opportunity to talk about our local non-league football clubs, such as Northfield Town FC and Alvechurch FC, and I'd just like to pay tribute to the community work that they do. Does he agree that one of the challenges that many clubs face is finding the funding to bring on more women and girls teams, invest in the infrastructure, and the same applies to disability teams? This in itself can be a barrier to accessing wider funding. I believe that he knows both football clubs well. Does he share my hope that they will find that investment?
Deputy Speaker, and I thank the member for Birmingham Northfield for his contribution. I, as a goalkeeper, let many goals in against Northfield FC, so I have offered my contribution to his constituency. But he is absolutely right. I was fortunate to bring the chairman of Redditch United, David Faulkner, into the Houses of Parliament to meet with the chairman of the FA, and we made it very clear that there isn't the money available at the moment to build those infrastructure and facilities for girls and for women, and it is putting off participation. So we must do more to be able to build those that infrastructure and those facilities in our communities. Non-league football clubs are ideally placed to support this government's commitment to growth and the regeneration of our town centres. Build a transport network fit for purpose, improve skills and education, and critically reduce the burden on our NHS by promoting sporting participation. The economic impact of non-league football clubs is multifaceted. They contribute to local employment, business revenues and social programmes. Whilst their financial reach is smaller than their Premier and Football League teams' rivals, their influence significantly shapes local economies and fosters community cohesion and pride. Redditch has 500 players, but only 20 of them are on the men's first team. A football club is more than what happens on a Saturday afternoon. We need to talk about clubs, not just teams, as the impact of clubs like Redditch United is more than just their place in the football pyramid. Because when they're lost, the benefits to our economy and our society are lost too. Not every non-league club has a Ryan Reynolds or a Rob McElhenney, an accompanying Disney Plus TV show. I wish they had, because if we have learned anything from the Wrexham story, it would be that when a football club has the means to be successful, it can rejuvenate a town. Succeeds brings confidence and pride. People start smiling and the money investment follow, not just into the football club, but throughout the city and regional infrastructure.
Will the Honourable friend give way?
Of course.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and thank you for giving way, and I congratulate the honourable gentleman in securing such an important debate celebrating the immense value of football and our local clubs. And I also want to commend the mention of women and girls. I used to play football myself for a team, but I wanted to talk about Tamworth FC because my local chairman contacted me about the 3 Up campaign, which is pushing for an extra promotional place from the National League to the EFL, which would provide more ambition for clubs, provide inspiration for fans, and crucially would ensure that money flows from the top right through the game to our lower non-league clubs. So would my honourable gentleman agree with me that we need to support initiatives like this to ensure that clubs and local economies benefit?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for Tamworth. Football is about competition. More relegation, more promotion is a good thing for me, so I certainly endorse Tamworth's support of the campaign. Although I focused on Redditch United and I'm proud of what the club is doing on and off the pitch, I know the excellent work they do, despite the extreme challenges, is being repeated up and down the country by staff and volunteers nationwide. They're not asking for a handout, just the respect and support they deserve. Whilst I welcome this government and this minister's commitment delivering the Football Governance Bill, I hope the government, when the bill is passed, will be able to work with the Football Association, local authorities and non-league clubs to review the sustainability and resilience of non-league football and, crucially, the opportunities for growth via our non-league clubs. Such a review into financial sustainability, governance and gaps in support for non-league clubs, including steps 2 and below, would allow us to recognise what support they need and how we can finally ensure the riches of our game make it down to the real grassroots. There is more than we can do with local authorities to ensure Transport Links support the growth of clubs and encourage more fans to attend. We can help local authorities recognise local clubs' importance and provide guidance and strategic planning, including the benefits of working alongside clubs in meeting leisure, education and economic priorities. Finally, crucially, we need to offer the same governance support to non-league clubs, their fan bases and their communities to ensure we reduce the number of clubs forced to drop down divisions or fold because they don't have the liquidity to continue their operations at the highest level. Securing the future and prosperity of non-league clubs could benefit many ministers sitting around the cabinet table. Madam Deputy Speaker, I am unashamedly a passionate football fan, but my passion for non-league football and my team Redditch United isn't just about what happens on the pitch for 90 minutes. Non-league football clubs are often the unsung heroes of our local economies. As I have listed, they not only put millions into our economy, but provide jobs, the base of critical education and social programmes, help people back into work, and provide sporting facilities for thousands of boys and girls every week to stay fit and healthy. I hope that this Parliament will be able to investigate how we can use the tools available to this House to support them, the local economies they rely on, and the communities that love them. Finally, I'd like to pay tribute to Dave Faulkner, his staff, and the volunteers who have made Redditch United more than just a football club.
Minister, Stephanie Peacock.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. English football is one of our greatest exports, which this government wants to see thrive for generations to come. I'd like to begin by thanking my honourable friend, the member for Redditch, for his speech and for highlighting the impact of clubs like Redditch United in his constituency to local communities. And indeed, we have heard from members across the House about the huge impact non-league clubs have to their areas. English football is a fantastic global success story, and of course it all begins and wouldn't be possible without grassroots football. During this debate, I'd like to speak about the important contribution that football and the sporting sector makes to our economy and to communities up and down the country. In October last year, DCMS published new research measuring the impact of the sport and physical activity sector on the economy. The research DCMS published showed that the sector contributed £53.6 billion to the UK economy in 2021. This means the sector was worth over 2.6% of the UK's economy. That same year, 878,000 people on full-time contracts were employed in the sector. One of the reasons why the sports economy is such a significant proportion of the total economy is because of our footballing sector. The same research showed that football, throughout the whole pyramid, including professional and grassroots football, as well as football's indirect impact on the economy at large, generated £8.71 billion for the economy. This research did not even measure the societal benefits of actually playing grassroots football, which I'll touch on later. Football clubs deliver significant economic benefits to their local economies, but they also deliver indirect economic benefits to the local communities they serve, attracting visitors and bringing increased footfall to the hospitality, retail and transport sectors. The government wants a thriving grassroots sports sector with a strong national governing body, including the FA, that can use their nationwide remit to deliver sport to people across the country. DCMS provides the majority of support for grassroots sport through our arm's-length body Sport England, which annually invests £250 million of lottery and exchequer money. The FA is a long-term partner of Sport England. Sport England is investing £26.1 million into the FA for the period of 2022-27. As a government, we understand the value of grassroots sports facilities, which is why we are delivering the Multi-Sport Grassroots Facilities Programme, which is investing £123 million of UK-wide funding throughout 24-25. This is helping to fund a total of 559 projects across England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland so far this year. Projects funded through this programme include new artificial grass pitches, new changing pavilions and clubhouses, floodlights, fencing, pitch maintenance, equipment and goalposts. It was great to attend the Chorley Women versus AFC Fylde match a few weeks ago as part of the Premier League's More Than a Game trophy tour and to see the impact of this funding firsthand with the improvements to their facilities. Following the autumn budget, the government confirmed its continued support for elite and grassroots sport through future investment. Further details of this investment will be confirmed in due course. Now, my honourable friend, the member for Redditch, raised the issue of ensuring transport links to support the growth of clubs. I agree with my honourable friend that we all need to play our part supporting the case for our local clubs to be well served by local transport, not only for football fans, but for accessing opportunities to participate in sport. I am engaging with colleagues across government on how we can improve public transport access to and from sporting events, as I know this is an issue of interest and concern for colleagues across the House. Now, my honourable friend for Redditch also raised governance support for non-league clubs. The revised code for sports governance sets out the levels of transparency, diversity diversity and inclusion, accountability and integrity that are required from the FA and other organisations who seek and are in receipt of public and national lottery funding. Any governance concerns regarding non-league clubs should be raised with the FA, who have their own complaints procedure. Sport England oversee the FA's compliance with the code, and any concerns about the governance of the FA should be raised with Sport England. And that is why it is important that the support for grassroots football continues into the future, because of the influence of non-league football extends far beyond purely economic impact. Now, non-league football clubs have an important part to play in delivering wider societal benefits, fostering social cohesion and building a strong sense of local identity. Clubs often engage in community initiatives and contribute to civic identity and pride of place. They run extensive outreach programmes, volunteer initiatives and youth development schemes that offer safe spaces and educational opportunities to local residents. I have seen that firsthand in my own constituency of Barnsley South, having visited clubs including One More Town, One More Main and Worsborough Bridge Athletic, as well as the work Elsica FC have done with Elsica Holy Trinity Primary Academy, reviving their playing field. I know the huge role community clubs play in my own area of Barnsley and across the country. Now, an FA study from 2019 showed that the value of regular grassroots football in England was over £10 billion per year. This consisted of a direct economic value of just over £2 billion per year and a social well-being value of over £8 billion per year. The FA study also showed that playing regular grassroots football saved the NHS over £43 million per year through reduced GP visits. It was great to attend the FA's Made for This Game event in Parliament this week as part of their campaign to empower girls in schools across the country to get involved in sport, no matter their age, role, ability, race, religion or ethnicity. And I'm looking forward to supporting the FA's campaign next Friday, closer to home in Barnsley, for their 4th annual biggest ever football session. It's great to see that the FA's target of equal access to football for girls in 75% of schools has been met, but we are committed to going further. This government believes that every girl deserves the opportunity to get involved in whatever sport they choose, because we know the power of football clubs, from non-league clubs to professional clubs, in getting people active and to bring communities together. Non-league clubs also bring about significant economic benefits and are an essential part of the social fabric of our country. It's also right that we thank the thousands of volunteers who give up their time to support their local non-league clubs. Without them, clubs simply wouldn't survive, and the Honourable Member rightly paid a fulsome tribute to the contribution of volunteers. So in closing this debate, it's been a brilliant opportunity to discuss the economic contribution of non-league football clubs. As I've set out, football and sport make a hugely important economic contribution to our economy and to our country. This is exactly why the government supports non-league and grassroots football, and I once again thank my honourable friend for tabling today's debate.
The question is that this House do now adjourn. As many as of that opinion say aye. The ayes have it. Order, order.